Well, hi. Today is Friday, June 13th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Yes, it is Friday the 13th, but I've never really been a big believer in that particular superstition. And in fact, the Pour Into Avoca event is going on today. So big encouragement from me, from a lot of other folks to head to Avoca today, shop in the stores, eat in the restaurants, grab a cup of coffee, any kind of shopping that you can do in Avoca today, because the businesses there really suffered from the water crisis that went on, and they had that boil order in effect for a long time, and businesses really struggled for about 3 weeks. So this event is to try to right the ship a little bit. So Pour Into Avoca is going on today. Last night, great time at the Council Bluffs Farmers Market, a little bit breezy. Yeah, it was. It seemed like the end that we were on, or the east end of First Avenue. The wind seemed a lot stronger down there. How can the wind be stronger from one side of the street to the other? But it definitely was. I'd walked down to the west end and not much at all. It was just the wind was pretty calm. So, but on my side, yeah, our awning was actually lifting up a little bit. The wind was blowing so hard. But something great happened last night. I saw Sue Pitts, and I convinced her to come over and talk with us for a while, and actually recorded an interview. Sue is the owner of the business Just Sue Creative, and we're going to talk with her and bring you that conversation. That's coming up in just a few moments. In the meantime, if you have a leak, a clogged drain, or planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. And if this warmer weather has you wondering what's going on with your air conditioner, maybe it's not working as well as you think that it should, get a hold of Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning in Council Bluffs. Both owned by the Waldstein family, Travis Waldstein and his son Hayden. Hayden heads up the plumbing side, Travis on the HVAC side, and also Travis is the host of the podcast Circle of Trades, and I encourage you to check that out. It's a great podcast, and it's something that I really enjoy being a part of. If you're looking for a laid-back spot with great food and even better company, come to the Mile Away in Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. Whether you're catching the game, enjoying tacos on Wednesday, burgers on Thursday, or maybe just unwinding after a long day, the Mile Away has you covered. They're located on Old Lincoln Highway, north of Council Bluffs, and it's the perfect place to relax and enjoy good times. Follow them on Facebook for the latest events and specials. The Mile Away, where great food and great people come together. And Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke. You may also be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restore by Schmader will restore your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. That's Service Master Restore by Schmader. Well, we've been talking a long time about Just Sue Creative and Sue Pitts, and I finally tracked her down at the farmer's market and thought, you know what, let's do an interview and talk with you a little bit about some of the great things you do. First off, thank you so much for being a part of this, and also congratulations on the success that you're seeing with Just Sue Creative.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm having a really good time and having fun, a little bit different perspective from just telling customers what to do, and now I'm kind of combining the education and actually doing things for them. So
well, and that was from the Small Business Development Center.
Yes.
That you were how long? 20 years. 20 years. Wow, that was a long time. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, now that you are officially on the other side, is it everything that you thought it was? Are you learning anything new?
Yeah.
Or how has the process been for you?
Yeah, it's so I've basically Small Business Development Center. Half of my job was helping businesses, but also helping them start through the start of it. And I think it was a lot of lessons of like, yeah, I can talk and tell you what to do, but when you have to go sit down and do it, it takes time, right?
Right, exactly.
So just the, I think I really learned in the beginning is it really pays to plan, and that's what you always taught is that business planning piece. You know, not only what am I selling, but what are your prices and who are your customers, and how am I going to do this and what tools am I going to use, and putting it all together and having that plan.
Going back to when you were still with the Small Business Development Center, and you were talking to me about whatever harebrained idea that I came up with, but you were very big on you were always asking me about my business plan. What's your business plan? And the other thing that you were also very adamant about is you need to be upfront about your pricing. Don't hide that.
Yes.
And I wanted you to talk a little bit about that and about your philosophy regarding that.
Sure. Well, to the business plan, I think a business plan is good, and that's what you kind of hand over to Todd. Give me some money. I have a business plan. It's the planning. And we write it down to remember it, right? That's the plan. But the planning part is so, so important. And planning every year of like, what am I selling this year? And what are my prices? As far as pricing, I think it's kind of antiquated. When websites first came out, or when brochures first came out, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was, we don't want to say our pricing because we want our customer to talk to us.
Right.
We want them to call and we want to sell. Our mindset now is, if I don't see a price, I'm probably going to find someone else's website that I can see a price. I am not picking up the phone right away. I want to see the pricing. And if I don't see your pricing, I'm going to assume you're so out of my realm that I can't afford you. If you say, well, it depends, or let's talk, let's negotiate, I feel like you're going to come back with a price that I can't afford. I want to see either the pricing range or price. Like if we sit back, and this is what we all need to do as business owners, is sit back as our own consumer and say, how I would be comfortable when I go to a website. I want to know what I'm in for, and it's not all about price. It's about, what I'm giving and the value. So if my price is a little higher and I have it on my website, I'm backing it up with why it's higher. So that's okay.
Also, it works the other direction too, that let's say that someone is interested in my services, but they have no budget at all, and even though that I may be inexpensive, it's still way outside of anything that they could ever be capable of doing. So it saves both of us time.
Right. Yeah. You want to be, your customer is your customer, and that customer is someone that needs what you're selling, wants what you're selling, has a problem to be solved, and also that customer is in your price range. If the customer's not in your price range, their solution is something different, and it's not you.
Right. Yeah, and I feel that, with my podcast services, I'm priced competitively.
Yeah.
I know that I'm priced fairly, that I can still make a profit. I'm still providing value in that. And I did some research into this to make sure that it was where it needed to be. And that's why it just kind of made sense when you said that. And it has actually worked, because I have had someone that I was talking to, a potential client still, and when they went to the site and they said, yeah, we saw your pricing there, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
So that part of the conversation was done.
Right.
We didn't have to continue with that.
Yeah. And part of Just Do Creative is building websites, and part of that is you want a website that answers your customers' questions. Because one of the goals of a website is to save you time. It's your 24-hour shop. Like, even if you have a brick and mortar, this is your 24/7 shop. People can go and find out your hours. Are they open? What do they offer? Are the prices in my range? Those questions that you get at 4 a.m. when someone's calling you and you don't want to answer it, right? The answer's there.
Yeah, by the way, it's, as we're recording this, it's a bit windy. So
Yeah.
if the awning suddenly goes airborne, I'm going to have to jump up and grab it here real quick, because every once in a while the wind gusts get a little crazy on this end. I walk down to the other end of the farmer's market. It's calm down there.
Is it really?
Yeah, the wind's calm down
I'm going
there.
to have to go down that end.
So it's just kind of swirling around here
funny.
is what's going on here today. But also, you have a lot of knowledge about marketing on social media and different areas with that. And something that I am fighting constantly is the thoughts that I can circumvent the algorithm and I can figure this out and use the algorithm to my advantage, but I don't ever seem to have any success doing that.
Right. So by algorithm, you're talking about getting found. online.
And how many views can I get on any given show and that type of thing?
Okay. So like how people are searching for you, how they're finding you, how you're popping up in either social media or Google.
Well, and plus with the shows that I do, such as the one that you're on
Yeah.
right now, is how can I increase the amount of people that are seeing it
Right.
and have access to it.
Right. And so the simple answer is, short of you popping up on like a TikTok For You page, or going viral, all your websites are hooked to YouTube, just searchable, second biggest searchable engine,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And they're also hooked to your website, which is searchable through Google.
Right.
Okay. So people are searching or trying to find something, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're putting in words, or they're putting in questions. So are your titles answering those questions? Because
No.
that's what Google is seeing.
They're not.
Are your tags answering those questions? What is there to do in local Iowa? Or, what those kinds of questions. If people are searching that content's coming up. If your titles and the content within your video isn't tagged in a way that people are searching for the content, if it's titled "Having Fun with Todd Studer," they're probably not searching how to have fun with Todd Studer.
So what you're telling me then is what I have been doing, by the way, for the last 9-10 months. I'm trying to think of how long this show's been going, and it has the show title and the date in the title.
Yeah.
So it says Morning Coffee and then the date.
So people aren't probably searching for
Right.
morning coffee.
Right. Okay.
So there's tags,
I'm learning.
So that's with videos, or that's even with a plain old website, on your website. So we hear the word SEO, and I do SEO, and we think, there's some companies out there, like some companies or small businesses might be paying $1,200 for SEO, and some companies aren't really doing much for that. It's a little bit of a scammy business. What SEO is, and I do this, but I do it very transparently and authentically, is creating content, creating words, answering those customer questions on the videos, on the websites. When I built your website, it was all built with what are those questions people are asking, let's answer them. So it's really good content. Yes, there's some back-end tags in there. They're not rocket science. That's kind of a one-time deal and you change it up. But it's about being a really good business and portraying what value you offer to your customers on your website. And then also, like on a website, I know we all think no one goes to blogs, it's podcasts now, right? Mm-hmm. But blogs are super relevant because it creates new content on your website. So when I do a blog, maybe that's not covered on my website and I'm covering another topic, like how to beat the algorithms, and that's on a blog post, that could be searched and people will find my website and find my business.
I'm thinking back to, this was several years ago, it might be 6 years ago now. There's a young man over in central Iowa that went to school and came back and worked on his dad's farm. Mm-hmm. Started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks know about this guy. He calls himself Call the Corn Guy.
Okay.
And because they raise corn. He was getting, varying degrees of success with videos that he was putting together, a few hundred here, that type of thing. Then he put one together, and the title of it was How to Get $1 Million Loan, because he and his dad went to the bank to get a loan for the farm. It blew up. It went viral. And next thing you know, this kid is making $250,000 a year off of YouTube videos because he got so much traction off of that one.
Yeah, and here's a warning. Like, he had relevant content that went with that, right?
Oh, and he did. And he also had a lot of content before.
So the other thing you want to do is like how to get $1 million loan or whatever it is, but back it up with truth and transparency, and this is how we really did it. And not just titling your blog post that has nothing to do with $1 million loans, how to get $1 million loan. One of the biggest things in my business when I was in SBDC was people would go viral with the words, how to get a free grant. There are no free grants. So all these articles were bogus and clickbait and things like that. So
Right.
you don't want to do clickbait because that could fire back. But just finding that content and going viral is great. But like when you're a small business, 5,000 views is great.
Yeah.
For your business.
Definitely. Yeah. And especially when you're talking about a market this size.
Yeah.
That, because I have stopped getting as concerned about views on any individual program, and I'm looking more at a window now.
Right.
And I had a 28-day period go close to 60,000 views. And I'm very happy with that.
Right.
Because this is a regional show designed for Council Bluffs and the surrounding area, and I think that those are great numbers.
Right.
So, but they're not Rogan numbers, but it's not designed for that.
Right.
We're not, people in Utah do not care about what we're doing here in Council Bluffs
Right.
unless you have a tie to here with a family member.
Yeah, if you're a national business, then you do national
Then
things.
you do
but
care.
Yeah. I think with websites or any kind of video content or any kind of content, it's about answering your customers' questions. What problem do you solve? How do you solve it? Why you're better than anyone else? And your videos might be a little different because they're focused on the community, but there's still that message and still that thing people are looking for in those. But if it's a website, like I'll see a website, I talk about this a lot, but as business owners, our businesses are our babies.
Yeah.
And as we grew up, like in my age, in corporate America, talk about mission statements, right?
Uh-huh.
I've had week-long meetings on mission statements and company culture. So that's core inside business values, and that's important to have a business with integrity and with good products. But if I, on my website, and many, many small businesses or even businesses do this, is they talk about their mission. If my mission is to save the world, awesome. If I'm your customer and I'm buying lawn fertilizer, I don't care. I want good lawn fertilizer. Like, good for you, save the world, but how does your lawn fertilizer make my grass green, right? So we need to mix that company integrity, those core values, with what our values are, our value propositions are for our customers. And that all comes down to, so I know I went way off in a loop, but that places the right keywords in your website because it's talking about the problem you solve for your customer and why you are the best. Those answers create keywords. People are searching in Google and they're finding your website.
So if you go to Just Sue Creative, so we'll get that in here too. I know you have a free consultation button.
Yeah.
And so you probably ask a potential client a lot of these same questions that you're talking about right now.
Right, yeah.
Because that's how you know how you can best serve them.
Right.
And just start finding out what their needs are, where their pain points are, and how you can help.
Yeah, absolutely. And my philosophy with what I do is, like I said, I bring that education into what I do. I am going to be very transparent about, Todd, this is what we're doing with your website. Here's how you can make updates. I'm not going to put in there, now you're tied and married to me for the next 10 years and I only can make. So
right.
With any of my services, which vary from website, SEO, illustration, content, I just created an email campaign and lead magnets and content like that for a company. It all comes with documentation, education. I'm going through it. Here's how to use it all. Even if I create a logo, sometimes people get a logo and they might get 5 files, right? And they don't know which ones to use or where to use them or how to use them. So all of that comes with education and consultation.
I know somebody here in town that they'd hired somebody that was doing work, on their staff that was doing their social media and that kind of thing. When this person left, they shut all the accounts down.
Never do that, yeah.
And so now all of that work and all of the pictures and everything else that was up there, gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think going back to my SBDC days, one of my biggest pet peeves, and this is why my core values, I'm saving the world, in my business are to make sure that a business understands what I'm doing. And I think if you're hiring an accountant, if you're hiring a lawyer, we have very good ones in this community, but they're nationally and online are some scam artists, right?
Right.
You should never be told, don't worry about it, we're handling it, you don't need to know and understand it. As a business owner, you are outsourcing because you don't have time to do it. But at least take the time to understand what they're doing so you can catch them if they're doing it wrong. I mean, think about an accountant. They're handling your money.
Right.
They're handling everything, and I don't know how many times I would see a client come through and they're like, I don't know where I'm at. They'll tell me on April 15th. You know, and 9 times out of 10, there's some corruption going there. You know, so when you don't have, you know how to read your books, and someone else is doing it for you, but you can easily look it up and you have access to it all the time, and you can make transactions yourself, and you understand what you're seeing. And that goes for marketing, SEO, anything.
Well, she is Sue Pitts. The company is Just Sue Creative, and I think you saw just a little bit of a snapshot here as to why you need to sit down and have a conversation with this woman, because she is, you've been invaluable to me.
Well, great. I'm
And
glad.
even before you started Just Sue Creative, and back when you were doing the Small Business Development Center, I've talked about it many times, that without the work that you did, and without the work that Advanced Southwest Iowa does,
Great organization as well.
I don't know that I exist. I mean, I'm probably still breathing in and out, but the company itself, I don't know that it exists without the assistance and the help that I've gotten from all of you. So
yeah, and I think that's a great point, not to extend this, but we do have resources, and it's hard for, when I was with SBDC, I'm not no longer, but and Advanced Southwest Iowa, and they're opening up an entrepreneurial center. They're connected to a lot of different resources. We have resources for businesses, and I know a lot of people would be like, well, no one ever told me about it, or I didn't know they were there, so I'm telling you. We don't have the money to market because we're free resources.
Right.
But reach out for help. There are people for help. If you need to contact Todd or I, we'll tell you where to go. We'll help you. But
Perfect.
there are definitely resources.
Definitely will. Well, Sue, thank you for stopping by and letting us fill in a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
And I know I don't even think you've been through the farmer's market
I
yet
haven't.
today.
I need to go get some veggies.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Come out and join us at the Farmers Market next Thursday. My good friend Kyle Randy and I were walking around doing a lot of interviews with folks, and Kyle is hard at work compiling all of those, and we're going to be releasing those interviews coming up very, very soon, and always looking for more. So if you're a vendor, come find us, and we'll stop by and talk to you and let you get a little free advertising in for your booth. If you're looking to elevate your wrestling game, join the best wrestler in Council Bluffs. Champions are forged, founded by Olympian George Ivanov and his father, elite coach Ivan Ivanov. The club is built on 3 pillars: wrestling, academics, and career. Trained with world-class coaches who've produced Olympians, world champions, and national title holders. Their state-of-the-art facility at the Iowa West Fieldhouse offers programs for all ages and skill levels. Go to thebestwrestler.com to learn more. And do you or does someone you love need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place can be critical for many people. Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings the personal touch to care at home in Council Bluffs, Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, all the surrounding communities in Southwest Iowa. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. Say, on a side note, I got an invitation in the mail the other day, and it's from a former employer, like way back. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but the late 90s and 2000, that was 25 years ago when I was employed by KMA. Well, KMA Radio in Shenandoah, Iowa is celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. 100 years this station has been on the air. They are a heritage station, and the Everly Brothers got their start there. I remember when I first went and interviewed in 1997, and I met with now the late Lee Hughes and also Don Hansen, who spent his entire career at KMA. And I walked in and they're giving me a tour, and there was a picture of Frank Sinatra that was taken while he was at the studios in the 40s. I'm telling you, there's a ton of history at that place, and they have their anniversary event coming up in September. So I'm going to do my best to try to make it. And it was a short part of my career, about 3 years, but still, I learned a lot. And the Lee Hughes, who was the sports director back then, recently passed away, and everything that I ever achieved as a sportscaster, which was a huge part of my career for a long time, I owe to Lee Hughes. He took me under his wing. He taught me. He gave me some tough love when I needed it, and also gave me some great opportunities. I mean, we were together at the state basketball tournament, and he said, "You got this game. You're going to call this one." And he would sit and do color with me. Lee Hughes, a multi-time winner of best play-by-play in the state of Iowa, went into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and he was handing the microphone over to me. And it was a sad day when I learned that he had passed away. But everybody at KMA back then was all pros. And from news director Bill Bone to, I'm thinking farm director Tom Beavers back then, just a ton of names that folks around Southwest Iowa will, of course, remember. And they've got a lot of talent there now, and they're doing some great work. So, again, congratulations, KMA, on 100 years on the air and doing quality radio all the way through. That's going to wrap things up for today. Very grateful for everyone that I saw last night at the farmers market. Got a lot of great and positive comments, and I'm looking forward to having a wonderful weekend. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here Monday morning.